can use that to help us organize information and outcomes. So let me go ahead and start just by sharing. So up until now, we have been talking about probability with simple events, which is one event like rolling a die or flipping a coin. That is a simple event. We're going to be moving into compound events now, which is a combination of two or more simple events. So rolling a die and flipping a coin. What are the outcomes that could happen if I did that? And one way that we can organize our possible outcomes is by using an array. An array is it's a table, essentially, where we can list all of the outcomes that could happen. So if you think back a little bit to science, when we did Punnett squares, it works like a Punnett square. So let's just dive right on in and see how these work. So an experiment involves a spinner and a fair coin shown below. So here is my spinner. I can see I have blue, green, red, and yellow, and my coin that is heads and tails. So anytime you see the words fair coin, that means it has a heads and a tails. The spinner will be spun one time and the coin will be flipped one time. So what are all the possible outcomes that could happen if I spin the spinner and flip the coin one time? So I went ahead and made the array. And across the top, I have all of the colors of my spinner. And down the side, I have heads and tails, because those are the only two possibilities with flipping the coin. So I'm going to start by filling in my colors. So I could spin blue, I could spin green, I could spin red, and I could spin yellow. Now I'm going to go through and fill in my heads and tails. So everything that is listed here in the table, so blue heads, green heads, red heads, yellow heads, and then, you know what, I did heads on all of them instead of tails. Somebody tell me. Ooh. Let's try that again. This should be tails, 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 and tails. It's always good to double check your work before you move on. So I could get blue heads or blue tails, green heads, green tails, red heads, red tails, or yellow heads, yellow tails. Everything that is circled in green, that is my sample space. Remember, sample space is all of the possible outcomes that we could get. So everything that is in this table, the combinations, that is my sample space for this compound event. Okay, and I could write it as my sample space. Okay, we could get blue heads, blue tails, green heads, green tails, red heads, red tails, yellow, and yellow. Okay. So, sample space. Right. Any questions about how I filled out the array? Okay. All right, let's look at another example then. And I just realized I don't have enough lines on here. So Lily draws a marble from a bag. She records the color, returns the marble to the bag, and then draws another one. What are all the possible outcomes? Okay. So let me fix my array here because I did not make it big enough. All right. So the first time she draws a marble out of this bag, what are all the possible colors she could draw the first time if she takes out one marble? All right, she could get purple, she could get red, green, blue, or yellow. I had one too many. All right, so she takes out one of those marbles and she puts it back in the bag. What are the possible colors she could get the second draw? She takes the marble out, puts it back in. What colors does she have available for her second draw? I'm not having that same issue I had the other day. Okay. Right. It would be the exact same colors. She would still have purple, red, green, blue, and yellow. Okay. So now all we would do is just fill in the chart. Okay. So we know she could get purple, purple. She could get purple, red, purple, green. Whenever you do arrays, you start with the letter that is on, or the one that's across the top. Okay. Blue, purple, yellow, purple. Red, red. So as you can see, as I go through here, I'm just gonna quickly do. So green, red, blue, red, yellow, red, purple, green, red, green, 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 blue, green, yellow, green, yellow, yellow, blue. Ignore my chicken scratch, please. All right. So these are all of the possible outcomes that she could get from this event. If I look at this, I can figure out the probability. So if I count, there's 5 across, 5 down, so there's 25 possible outcomes. From this event, okay, because I can count the number of squares that are inside my array. Of those possible outcomes, I can figure out the probability of certain events. So let's say the probability of drawing purple first okay? So I'm going to find all of them that have purple listed first, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the probability of purple first would be 5/25 or 1/5. Okay. What about the probability of drawing the same color both draws? So here's a purple purple, a red red, green green, blue blue, yellow yellow. So that would be 5/25. The probability of drawing a blue marble in any order. So here's blue, here's blue, 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 blue. Not that one. So if I count all of those, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the probability of drawing a blue in any order would be 9/25. Any questions about that? Okay. Any questions about how to do an array? Okay. I'm going to drop a link in the chat. That is not the right one. Grab that link again. All right, I need you to go to the Jamboard that I just shared with you, because you are going to get some practice with this before we talk about your work for today. All right, so there's 4 different pages. They're all exactly the same. But what I would like you to do is construct an array showing all the possible outcomes for spinning this spinner twice. So think about the colors you could get the first spin and the colors you could get the second spin, and make your array. So to do that, you're going to need to use the pen tool, okay? And just draw as straight a lines as possible. Okay. So if there's 3 colors, I have to have enough going down and across, okay, in order to do it. So go ahead and let's see what we come up with. And make sure you, of course, as always, that you label it so I know whose is whose. It's okay, Jada. It happens. So Jada, I would make another line out here so you can do your second spin out to the side. Because right now you're writing underneath if you spin red first. So if you look at the one below you, there you go. Yes, fill it out. I want to see what possible outcomes we could have. So I don't know whose this one is down here, but remember we write the top number or the top value first, okay? So like you have blue, green here, and it should be green, blue. Say, Gabe, I'm looking at yours right now. Remember we write the top value first. So this should be red, blue. Okay. This should be green, blue. Ooh, I don't know what just happened. There it goes. All right, Jada, let's let green, red, blue, red, red, green, 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 blue, green, red, blue, green, blue, blue, blue. Looks great, Jada. red, green. Looks good, Yariel. Looks good, Monica. All right, so looking at the arrays that we have finished, how many possible outcomes do we have? How many possible outcomes do we have for this event? Ooh, 9. And Yariel did not mean to do that, Jada. He got a little crazy there. Right, there are 9, because if I count the squares inside the array, there are 9 of them. How many of them, or what is the probability of spinning blue first? What is the probability of spinning blue first? 3/9. Exactly right. What is the probability of spinning green in any order? You're close, you missed one. Because if I look at yours, Monica, I see green, 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 green. Okay, so that would be 5/9. What is the probability of spinning red and blue together? How many times do we see red and blue together in our array? Okay, there is one, but there's also a second one. Okay, right, 2/9. Any questions about how to complete an array? Any questions about how to use it to find probability? Yes, Yariel, you have a question about which one? Could do in the array. Okay, so if I look, there are 9 outcomes. I'm going to use Jada's here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So if I want to know the probability of spinning green in any order, okay? So that means I could spin green first or green second. I'm going to them that have green. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the probability of spinning green in any order would be 5/9 because there are 5 of the 9 squares with green in it. Does that make sense? Okay. All right, let's talk about your assignment for today. First, let me do this. All right. So you're going to do an assignment called Tossing Coins. And the first slide, you are going to fill out the table. So we are flipping a coin or you and a partner are flipping a coin at the same time, and what are the different outcomes that could occur. So here's student 1, here's student 2, and you're just going to fill out the array. And then you're going to use what you wrote in the array to make your sample space. Remember, sample space is all of the possible outcomes. So everything that is written here is your sample space. Then you're going to click on this link, and you have 2 coins that you're going to flip. And it says you're going to conduct 30 trials of this experiment. So flipping 2 coins. So flip 1 and 2. I got heads and heads. So I'm going to put a tally beside heads and heads. And you're going to do this 30 times. Okay. Total up your tallies and then the probability. So remember, this is out of 30. Okay. And then you're going to click on this link. It's going to take you to this Jamboard. And you can see mine is already filled out. You're going to put your name, how many times you get, or your probability of heads and heads, heads, tails, tails, heads, and tails, tails. Okay. So whenever it says tails, heads, this one would say tails here. Heads, tails would be the second one here would say tails. And then after you fill out the Jamboard, you're going to answer the question. Okay. Any questions about your assignment for today? All right. I will be here until 10:15 like always. If you think of anything that you need,